be cutting the ribbon on the new space in November. We would not be where we are today without your full participation, your cooperation, and your help. So I want to thank you very much for that. And the ultimate winners in this reorganization are going to be the citizens of Portland when this new bureau is up and running and delivering on the promise that we have made. So thank you for that. Thank you for your steadfast support for the Resource Access Center. If there's the equivalent of the perils of Pauline in the housing world, this would be the Resource Access Center. And the backstory is that it really should not be built. There have been so many obstacles and so many legal complications. But we will be breaking ground in October, again, because of your focus and your dedication to this project. And finally, I just want to acknowledge that on top of your public service work, John, you're a pretty good softball player. And I had the pleasure of playing softball against John and the new chair out in Lentz Park at Walker Stadium. But I came away from that realizing we need some reinforcements. So I think next year I'm going to prevail on my colleagues to come out and help us out.
Oh, you want to put a new ball stadium there?
We are not. We are.
Is that what you'd like to do?
It's the wrong stadium.
We are not taking that defeat lightly. So anyway, thank you.
You're just going on and on and on
Thank
and on.
you.
and on.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Commissioner Leonard.
I actually feel compelled to
Tough crowd today.
express the state of my relationship with PDC at this point, but I want to do it in a historical perspective, as only Commissioner Saltzman would appreciate, being the only member of the council that was here when I arrived in 2002. My very first act on the council was to pull from consent agenda a tax abatement proposed by PDC for a apartment building that had been built in the Pearl, and I challenged the wisdom of subsidizing apartments at taxpayer expenses that rented for as much as $3,000 a month. And I'm sure Dan doesn't remember this, but after my exchange with the PDC staff in December of 2002 on that subject, we walked out and Dan looked at me and said, "You have arrived." And do you remember that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, and I thought, well, I suppose I have. And frankly, from that point, for the next few years on, my relationship with the PDC deteriorated to the point of actually me filing a resolution in 2004 subpoenaing documents from the PDC, which fortunately did not have to actually be followed through with, that being the low point. From then till now, I am happy to sit here and say that the relationship that I believe, not just I, but the council enjoys and the public enjoys with the PDC couldn't be more dramatically different. And it is frankly due, Charles, a lot to you and your leadership, and certainly John coming and bringing a perspective that I have long felt needed to be part of the decision-making processes have been helpful. But Charles, I can't underestimate the cultural change that occurred when you became chair. I dealt with people there that treated me as the enemy when I was doing nothing more than trying to protect who I think it is that pays all of our salaries, the taxpayers of the city. And I was unrelenting, as you know, about that. And I have no apologies for that. But I do think that in fairness, it needs to be said, and I didn't know you would be here this morning, and I did not know that we would have the opportunity to have this exchange, but I could not be more pleased with the current state of my relationship and thus the taxpayers' relationship with the Portland Development Commission, your partnership with us, your openness to discuss with us issues, and I check in ways that you may not be aware. I talk with our city attorney, Linda Meng, as you know. I was hell-bent on having our attorney be your attorney for a while, agreed to cooperate and find a middle ground, and she reports to me that the relationship could not be better between the PDC's attorney and ours. I will continue checking. As Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify, and I do that. But I know that it's a testament to not only both of your memberships, but now we have Scott on the PDC as well, who brings with him another fresh perspective, but also reflects the current culture that both of you have brought, but particularly Charles, you, and I want you to know that I know that, and I appreciate it, and I
Mayor, I
realize
move
the
to
hard
waive the
work.
3-minute time limit for Commissioner Leonard.
Of all the
And I
people in
ask
the
that he
room,
be allowed
of
to
all the
speak.
people in the room to say
I allowed that he
anything
be
about
allowed to
anybody
continue
talking,
to speak,
you are the last person. You have
Be
no
allowed to
credibility on the
continue
subject.
to speak on this.
All
I'll
right,
have you
gentlemen, why
ejected
don't,
from these chambers.
your points of summary, Commissioner Leonard?